Basically what happens is that person coming to you says, I have issues, and I don't want to do the work of healing. I'd rather take that responsibility and put that on your shoulders because you seem like the person who can do it. And yeah, I would like you to be my personal rehab, please. You don't owe anyone a healing. You're not anyone's rehab. Don't be that. I've been there. I've been a rehab. The shit is not working, I'm telling you. Hey guys, welcome back and welcome if you're new here. My name is Sophia, and today's video, as you can guess from the title, is about lessons, in particular 12 lessons that I've learned from my heartbreaks in life, which I've had many of. As much as they suck, heartbreaks are really important in our life. Like, no matter how bitter they are, I'm grateful for each and every one of them because, God, I'm that person that learns the hard ways and not the easiest ways. I need to fall hard sometimes in order to get it. The universe will be sending me signs and I will just be like, oh, I do not see it. Didn't see that one. Until it slaps just hard on my face and then I'm like, okay, now I get it. But yeah, jokes aside, I, just like anyone, I've had my heart broken plenty of times, and sometimes it was other people. Sometimes those were from other people. Sometimes I've broken my own heart myself. We do that too. And yeah, been there, done that. I'm sure like more than once. I did that to myself, but yeah, that's how we learn. And it was the best and the most effective way for me to learn, to grow, because I believe that because of this pain, it got me where I am today, and I am who I am today. I am definitely a lot wiser, a lot stronger, a lot more confident because all of those experiences where I have learned something. And yeah, here we go. 12 lessons that I've learned from my heartbreaks. I feel like there's a lot more than this that I've learned, but let's say these are like the most principal ones, the most important ones that really will stick with me. So yeah, without further ado and talking too much, let's get into them. So the first point is very cliche. You might have heard, I'm pretty sure you've heard this. I mean, it's a popular one, but it's a really important one. Fill your own cup. By that, I mean learn to love yourself first before you go on and love other people, before you go on and give that energy and that love to other people that don't always deserve it. Because, and I'm not saying, don't take it wrong. By the way, I'm so sorry, guys, that there's a lot of noises going on where my family and I are leaving for vacation tomorrow. So everyone is like packing and it's a bit crazy. So yeah. I wanted to say that you don't have to be perfect to step into a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. Definitely not. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. My God, who is perfect these days? No one is perfect. We shouldn't be perfect, okay? It's not about that. It's about that you need to feel full and whole and complete on your own. And then you should start thinking about getting into a relationship, going out there and dating. You need to feel whole on your own. You don't need to feel like you need someone to complete, this addictive, obsessive state where you feel like, oh my God, I feel so incomplete on my own. I need someone to complete me. And the thing is that the other person will never feel that void. That's the truth, that you will never be able to fill that void inside of you with another person because that's just your job to do. There is no one that can complete you but yourself. There's no one out there who can complete you but yourself. It's your inner job to do, and by completing yourself, it means putting in the work. And as much as you take care of yourself externally, taking care of yourself internally, right? investing in your spiritual knowledge and investing in your spiritual life, in your physical health, right? In your mental health, especially if you may have gained some traumas from your past experiences, from your childhood, something that needs to be healed. It's not always that we require therapy, but it's definitely helpful. But I also understand that not everyone can afford it. In my experience, most of the therapy that I've got was, thank God, from the educational institutions that I went through, because it was provided. Most of the time I had access to free therapy, and I know that it's not available to everyone, but if it is, try it. And you don't have to, it doesn't mean that you have to feel depressed or you have to have some traumas, but sometimes when you feel lost or you keep seeing some patterns, that you keep attracting a certain type of people that you don't really want to attract, let's say, maybe there is an advice that you can get from an expert. But if it's not available to you, if it's not an option to you, I totally get it. And there's still a lot of self-help. I mean, there are podcasts. My favorite one is On Purpose. I love it. It's been a tremendous help for me. There are a lot of self-help books out there that can help you. You don't have to spend a lot. Also, there's a lot of information on YouTube and everything. But yeah, filling your own cup, investing in your healing, working on feeling complete on your own, it's very important. And that's the first lesson that I've learned from my heartbreak. Point number 2 is realize what you bring to the table and what you need to be brought to the table. If I were to take myself, for example, I'm a really good listener. I am very empathetic, which means that for me, it's very easy to take myself and put me in my partner's shoes. So it's easy for me to understand people's position because I can really relate to them, because I literally can put myself in their shoes, and I am really open to other perspectives. But I know that I'm not a very good communicator. Like, it's hard for me to express myself sometimes. I try, but I struggle, and I know that communication is really important and I really want to communicate, but I need a little bit of help there. I need a little bit of help of, let's say, like encouragement in expressing my feelings. Therefore, I need to have a partner that will bring stability to the table. I need to have a partner that will bring me that will bring security, someone that will make me feel safe, because in my past experiences I've been with someone who would make me feel really insecure and unsafe to express myself, and every single time I tried to communicate or express my feelings, they were dismissed, disvalued, made me feel invalid, or even guilty for feeling this way when I simply tried to communicate my needs. And that can be really difficult, and I'm really trying to work on my communication right now. I completely understand how important it is, and I really want to work on that. But let's say having a partner that is a really good communicator, let's say I would be with someone who might be not as good as I am at being empathetic and trying to put themselves in my shoes, or being a really good listener, but they're a really good communicator. And therefore, me being a good listener, them being a good communicator, we can work and we can teach each other. I can teach him how to be a good listener as me. He can teach me how to be a good communicator. Just like being each other's examples, learning from each other. And that's the thing, that this will work for me. I understand that for sure what will not work for me is somebody who has the same qualities. Somebody who is also not a very good communicator, because it can work, definitely. Like, I'm willing to put the work, I'm willing to make it work if that's the case. But if I have to choose, I would rather choose someone who can be a good communicator, because me struggling on that side, in that field, might be very helpful to have someone who is a little bit more open and a little bit more just easy, finds it easy to communicate, and that's it. The third point is agreement, which means that no one owes anything to anyone unless there has been a mutual agreement. And for instance, you can meet somebody, you go out on like a few dates with them and you're having a great time. Later on, after you start liking them, you get really close to each other, you realize that they have some issues. Let's say maybe they have trust issues, something that is really difficult to deal with, and they're not really working through it. Because as I said in my first point, that you don't have to be perfect, is something also that I would like to add to the first point, is that you can have trust issues and be in a relationship as long as you're working through it, as long as you acknowledge that you have this, that it's something that you need to confront, and it's something that you need to work through, and you're doing something about it. Some of those, we have this baggage for the rest of our life. We can cure it, we can try to heal ourselves, we can try to work through it, but the scar will always be there, and sometimes it can be triggered and we will feel hurt again. And it's all about trying to figure out what works for you in the moments when you are triggered. In the case of an agreement, when someone comes to you and says basically that, hey, like, I have some issues, I need someone to fix me. Because there are people out there, trust me, there are people out there who will come to you and say, I need fixing. They don't believe that it's their responsibility. They think that there is someone out there who can fix them, which is a total BS. Because basically what happens is that person coming to you says, I have issues, and I don't want to do the work of healing. I'd rather take that responsibility and put that on your shoulders because you seem like the person who can do it. And yeah, I would like you to be my personal rehab, please. You don't owe anyone a healing. You're not anyone's rehab. Don't be that. I've been there. I've been a rehab. The shit is not working. I'm telling you. I've been there, done that several times, gave it many chances. You see how emotional I'm getting about it? You can tell I've tried. I've tried hard. Unless they're willing to do something about it, to change something, unless they're willing to put constant effort and actually do something about it, that's the only way that it will change. If they're putting that responsibility on you and expecting you to do something about it, run. Don't even think about it. Just walk away. Spare yourself some peace, protect your energy, because these people, they're literally telling you, I don't want to do the work, please do it for me, please air out my dirty laundry. You don't owe that to anyone, and they cannot expect this from you. The same way, if there is no mutual agreement, people also don't owe you exclusivity. Understand that you might be in a stage of where you are dating. They're talking to you to make you feel really special and everything, but you might even be sleeping with them, so things start getting really intimate. And don't expect exclusivity from them. Don't think that you're the only one, because, no expectations, no disappointments. Because if you just expect it from them, like, sometimes there are people out there that will start getting really intimate with you and be like, okay, this is the moment that I gotta leave all the other options aside because this is the person I actually want to try to have something serious with. But don't expect it, and therefore you can just say it, you can propose it, you can say, hey, I want to be exclusive, can you give it to me right now? Don't just expect it. Don't expect it unless there's been an agreement. So yeah, if there is no agreement between you and the other person, no one owes anything to each other. It goes to a lot of not only romantic relationship, but also friendship, co-workers. Family can be a little bit complicated, but like romantic relationship, friends, co-workers, your colleagues, that goes for that. No one owes anything to anyone unless there has been a mutual agreement. And that goes into the fourth point, which is connected to the third point. If something doesn't feel right, say it right away. Don't hold it back. Sometimes there's this voice inside of us telling that there is something bugging you. You feel that something is bugging you, and sometimes we don't want our emotions to overtake. We want to take time to reflect and find the right moment, find the right words, because, as much as it's important to say things, it's also very important how we say it and when do we say it. However, that does not mean that you should put it away somewhere for the right moment that may come in a month or something. Reflect on it. Give yourself time if you feel like that's the right thing to do, so because you don't want to get too emotional about it, but don't push it away too far, because trust me, you will find a way to gaslight yourself and be like, oh, but maybe, the time has passed, I actually don't feel like it's that important anymore, or oh, actually he said it like a week ago already, like such a long time has passed, I'm not sure it's irrelevant even anymore, I'm not sure it's valid. And that's the thing, that the person keeps on doing what they did, not knowing that they hurt you, that they made you feel uncomfortable. It can be anything. It doesn't mean that they necessarily had to upset you. It might be a joke that they made that you didn't find funny, actually, or something that made you feel uncomfortable or also upset. Anything, really, anything that's bugging you and makes you feel like, that does not feel right. You can say it. It doesn't mean you have to be rude about it or anything. You can just be like, hey, you said this, you did this, and, it kind of made me feel uncomfortable. Can we talk about it? Just say it right away, and don't gaslight yourself. Don't think that it's not important. If it makes you feel a certain way, that feeling is valid. Validate it. Don't put it away in some box that you will forget about, because you will not forget about it. Honestly, it will just build up. You will have just like a stack of all those boxes, and one day you will just burst and pour it all out on that poor person, and they are like, I had no idea. So yeah, just say it right away, and don't be scared also of their reaction. If the right person, healthy, stable person in friendship, romantic relationship should have the right reaction, as in they should perceive it as my partner, my friend is communicating to me how I can better myself in my relationship with them. A person who is unstable, insecure, and is very self-consumed, self-centered, will take it on themselves and be like, oh yeah, you are telling me that I am this and that. Same also goes for you. Accept that people might have also something to say about you. Constructive criticism, right? And constructive is a very, very emphasized word here, because to criticize someone constructively is one way. To criticize someone in a way like, something that someone used to say to me very often, like, why don't you just use can you just use your brain a little bit? And things like that are not really saying like, are you stupid? But like, can you just use your brain a little bit? It's rude. Like, next person, I don't know, if anyone's gonna talk to me like this right now, you can talk like this to whoever the F you want, but you cannot talk to me this way. Nah. So yeah, constructive criticism. Okay. Point number 5. It's my favorite one. Take it easy. Please, honey, chill the F down. What that means is that, I may look like a very tough person. That's what people tell me, at least. I take it as a compliment. Anyway, but I've heard people say to me that you seem very, very kind of like distant. You seem like a person who doesn't really get their heart broken. You seem very tough. The truth is, I'm a romantic. I'm a brutally soft woman, and yeah. That means that I like to create movies in my head that have little to do with the reality, or at least I used to. I don't do this anymore. But definitely, like, when I've just turned 20 years old, going out there, trying, like, dating, I was also freshly single. And, which is another mistake that I did, like, yeah, we're not gonna talk about it. I was 20 years old and I just wanted to go out there, date, and have fun and meet people. And very often, even though I'm a very picky person, like I'm very picky, always been very picky with people. I've always been picky with friends. It's because I'm very overprotective, but still, romantically, I still got a lot of a-holes in my life enter my space, unfortunately. But yeah, happens. Yeah, I've created a lot of movies in my head, a lot of fantasies where, sometimes one of the guys would tell you, like, hey, I don't want anything serious. And you're like, yeah, I know. I don't want anything serious either. And it might be that I actually didn't want anything serious. But then I kind of start fantasizing and be like, oh, I wonder what it would be like if we would go, like, on the actual date, if we would start actually dating, and if we would be in a relationship. And you start idealizing the person, like, you don't even know them. You don't know how they are. You don't know how they are with their parents. You don't know how they are with their friends. You don't know their values. You don't know who the F they are. But you just see this, like, idea of them, and you're not actually in love with them, or you're not actually liking them. You like the idea of that person, and you fall in love with the idea of the person. And you start even, like, justifying their actions, like, oh, he doesn't text me for 8 hours because he's busy. He's such a hard, dedicated worker. He's so passionate about his work, and that's why he doesn't text me for 8 hours straight, is because he doesn't have a minute, not even a second, to text me, hey, I'm at work, or something. I don't know, anything. Like, we start justifying a behavior that is actually not okay. And we start falling in love with the idea of them that we have in their head, that we have in our head. And that's what I'm saying. Take it easy. Just don't, even when you just start dating, even if the person is telling you that I actually am looking for something serious, still just chill. Don't marry yourself to that person. Don't start making movies. Don't fantasize, because that is actually distracting you from actually seeing who they really are. And that is actually really unhelpful, because that's how you miss red flags, is that you idealize them so much because of this idea that you have of them in your head, that you don't see the reality. We just put pink glasses on and we're like, oh my god, the world is great. And then when we start getting into relationship with those people, we start uncovering some ugly truth, and we're like, where did this come from? Why is he so rude? But you missed the fact that he was actually talking on the phone with his mother, and he was literally being so rude to her. But you were sitting there with the pink glasses on and being like, oh my god, he's so sweet. Let's judge people by their actions. Let's not create ideas of people in our heads. Judge people by their actions. Like, that's what I always do. Whenever, sometimes I am still guilty of that. Sometimes I start, like, romanticizing guys that I'm talking to, for example, or that I'm seeing, and I always hold myself back. I'm like, oh, wait. He's not as perfect as I think he is. I was like, well, for example, he did this. I don't really like people who do that. I don't really like the way he talked to me. I don't really like that he replies to me after 8 hours, because, I am busy too. I actually, like, when I'm back in Italy, I'm in a hustle mode. I am so busy. I wake up at 7, I go to the gym, and like until 8, I'm doing things. Until 8 in the evening, I'm doing things. I can be meal prepping, I'm taking care of myself, I'm studying, I'm editing, I'm working on my illustrations or anything. Like, I'm doing something, but I will still find a minute to give you a response, because hey, even like to text, I'm busy right now, I'll text you later, it takes you 10 seconds. So it's all about the effort. So that's what I'm saying. Judge people by their actions. He doesn't text you because he doesn't want to. He doesn't call you because he doesn't want to. Or she, or they, whoever you're with. This person doesn't want to text you. That's why they don't text you. Because, dude, if I want to text you, if I miss my friends, I text them. I call them. I go and see them. Anyway, judge people by their actions. And that's it. Like, don't say like, oh yeah, there are mixed signals. There are no mixed signals. If there are mixed signals, that's a no. That's a person telling you, I don't want you. No, there's no such thing as mixed signals. There are mixed justifications for people that can't be justified, because their actions already speak for themselves. Number 6, don't disappear into another person. Please don't sacrifice yourself. We already have Jesus. You don't need to sacrifice yourself. And by that, I mean, don't try to dissolve yourself into another person. Like, don't try to be somebody else in order to impress them because you think that they will like you more this way. Like, very often what I've noticed some people do that. They try to adjust their style or the way they are, sometimes even the way they talk, the way they behave, their habits or something. They try to like things that the person that they likes. And I've been there too. I did that when I was like a lot younger. I did that too. And now I'm just unapologetically being myself, and you take it or leave it. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to be somebody else for your ass to like me. Ew. I hope I don't come across as such a diva. I'm not. Like, I'm super down to earth. I try to keep it fun, It's like, we're talking about such serious things, and it's good to keep it fun with an occasional hair flip, So yeah, never try to be somebody else. Don't try to adjust yourself. There's no need to impress. Like, somebody's gonna look at you and see you as something impressive, something amazing, and somebody is gonna look at you. You're not everyone's cup of tea. Somebody's gonna look at you and see just an average Joe, and or anything. Somebody's gonna look at you. Not everyone's gonna like you, whether it's a guy or a girl, whether you like them. Just don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to go out of your way to impress them. It takes so much energy and it's not worth it, trust me. Even if you're gonna get them. The thing is even if you're gonna get them, even if you're gonna start being in a relationship or dating, is that it's a mask. You're pretending, you're trying to hide your real self and put on this like facade of somebody else that you think that they will like. And the thing is that soon enough they will realize that that's a facade. It's gonna come off because you're gonna get tired. Like, trust me, I did acting. I got tired of being like 8 hours on set, trying to be somebody else, pretending to be somebody else, trying to think the way they think and all of that. Like, it's exhausting, and you will not be able to keep it up all the time. It's gonna come off. They will see the real you, and they will be like, oh, I don't know you. Who are you? They will be confused, and just don't try to sell yourself for someone that you are not. Be yourself. Be your authentic self, and you will attract people in your life that will appreciate you and love you for who you are. And those people that you're trying to impress and try to be somebody else for, they're not your people. If they don't look at you and see you as something amazing, they're not your people. If they don't appreciate you the way you are now, they will never, because they don't want to see you this way, or just because it's not your person. You're not their cup of tea. And I'm telling you, most likely they are also not your cup of tea. Another thing is also, if you keep on trying to, sometimes what also I notice some people do is liking what their boyfriends like or girlfriends. They try to take on their hobbies, and like, not because they're curious, but because they think that this is the way it works. Because they like watching football, you start watching football, you start watching sports they like, not because you're curious and interested, but because you think you have to for them to love you more. And trust me, it's the worst thing you can do to yourself in the first place, is because they will stop seeing you as a whole person. That's the thing. That's what happens, is that those people, they will be like, well, why do I even have to ask you? And that's the thing, that think about it. If I met somebody who would be just like me, who would try to copy, like who would literally try to be a doodle of me, but in a male version, if I would be with a guy who would literally like start liking what I like, do what I like, and just always try to choose what I would choose, like I want you to be your own person. I want you to have your own hobbies, to your own interests, your own ambitions. And I want to be there by your side and supporting you, but I don't want you to become me. And it's okay to, of course, pay attention to your partner's interests and support them, and maybe you have common interests, that's okay. You can even be curious about their hobby, that's fine. But if you do it not out of curiosity, but if you're doing it out of a belief that they will love you more for this, it's wrong. And it's wrong because they will stop seeing you as a whole person. Like how exciting it is when you meet someone new and it's a whole different human being, and you learn about them, you learn about how they like their coffee, what their habits are like when they get up in the morning, what's the first thing they do, what they do before they fall asleep, what are their hobbies, what they're interested in, what sports they like, or what art they like, what music they listen to, anything. It's so exciting. That's why I love meeting new people and discovering that they're different from me. It's the most beautiful thing. Or discovering that we have something in common and something not. Don't try to be somebody else's doodle, because they will stop seeing you as a whole person. They will be like, well, you are just an extension of myself, and that's boring, and I don't even need to like take you into account. Why do I need to ask you what you like when you always like what I like? So I don't even have to ask you. And that's just, it's boring. For me, I think personally, I would even find it irritating. And yeah. Hey guys, so as I was editing this video, I've encountered the problem is that it was just too effing long. Because overall, I've talked for like over an hour in the video. And while I'm still very happy about it, and I feel like I've touched on some good points, I also like the format of it, that it's more like a podcast. So yeah, let me know also if you're interested in that kind of format. But yeah, it's too long and therefore I'm splitting this video in two parts. So now we have finished part 1 and the part 2 is coming very soon, so stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, see you in the part 2. Bye.